Okay, was a story going around recently, past couple of days, that an airman with the security forces was killed. The details are, and this may change tomorrow, he had his P320, well, here we go, and he put it on his desk in the holster, but the muzzle faced him and the gun went off from inside the holster and killed him. Will that story change? I don't know. SIG released a lawyer's statement, obviously, blah, 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 blah. They turned off the comments on that post, but they did not turn off the comments on the other posts, and some guys really gave them a piece of their mind. Now, the P320 is one of those modular system things where you have like a mechanism, and that mechanism is your FFL part. And once you've bought that from your FFL, and a few companies are copying this. Ruger, for instance, is one. You buy your FFL part, and once you buy your FFL part, you buy grips, slides, barrels, magazines, triggers, and you miss the potato head of the gun. Okay, so you can have it super subcompact for summer carry, or you could have it, with the freaking thing this big for duty, with all that crazy shit, yeah. And the military adopted it over the Glock. Now, if you tell 500 service members, show me a rifle, 499 will show you the AR type platform, M4, M16, Mark 12. You might see an AR-10 in there somewhere. And there may be one guy with an M14 out of 500 guys. There might be one guy with the bolt action sniper rifle out of 500 guys. I'm talking about rifle, not some machine gun or squad gun or belt fed, no, just regular rifle. The handguns, not so much. Some guys still use the Beretta. Some guys use the SIG P320, mostly Special Forces. I think the Coast Guard took on the Glock 19. Keep in mind the Coast Guard now is under Homeland Security, so they're not under Department of Defense. So the Coast Guard is kind of like a hybrid of military and law enforcement combination thing. Marine Force Recon, they used World War II 1911s for 70 years. These World War II 1911s were made in 42-ish, and Recon was using them. They were in service from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, then Recon took them, and they would pimp the guns out with custom whatever the fuck, but the frame was a World War II frame that was in service for 70 years, and they put them away, and Colt made them a rail gun, a rail 1911. And then some Recon guys traded out for the Glock 19. Soldiers used to carry personal guns up until Vietnam. Obviously, Patton had the Colt Peacemaker. He killed Ponteville's right-hand man with. He had a Smith Magnum. He had a Colt Hammerless 32. A lot of snipers in Vietnam would buy a hunting rifle or have a hunting rifle bought for them. And that would be their rifle, which is regular guard hunting deer rifle. Like Carl's, I think, had the Remington 70. Since Vietnam, no one has been allowed to carry their own personal stuff in theater. Obviously, some general might want to carry a personal gun, and no one's gonna stop him. A Special Forces top tier guy might carry a personal gun, and his team leader will be like, okay, whatever. Rob O'Neill interviewed a SEAL who the entire team carried Smith 686s because they can tolerate any abuse. Okay, so the rifle, like I said, 500 soldiers, 499 will show me the AR type platform. Handguns there's gotta be, I would say, at least 6 different handguns in service. The P320, the Glock 19, the Beretta, SIG 226, 1911. They were using the book about John Chapman. One of his colleagues had a Glock 19. Now, what happened was a long time ago, like when the gun first came out, there was speculation that the gun would go off. And an FFL, I forget the guy's name, don't even bother asking me. He took variations of the gun, went to a range. I don't know if it was his range or a friend's range, but he went to a range. Obviously, it was a cleared range, and obviously he had some kind of precautions set up. But he would purposely drop the gun, armor guard holster, boom, and the gun would go off. And he isolated it to a single trigger. There was one trigger. He put every slide, every barrel, every frame, one trigger would go off all the time. And he said, I'm never selling this trigger ever again. And I'm putting my finance to SIG. And I'm not going to sell the gun, period, until SIG gets back to me. And I haven't heard, that was a few years ago. So first the conversation was the gun will go off if I drop it like this, boom. Now the conversation is the gun will go off if I drop it in the holster. There was an school resource officer a few weeks ago doing summer school. Gun goes off. Guns are going off without pulling the trigger. Guns are going off in the holster. Now if you look at this armor guard holster, you'll see that the trigger's covered completely. And I cannot move the slide even if I wanted to. The slide will not move. Well, the gun's loaded, but the slide will not move. And if it does move, it moves after a lot of force is applied. Like if I really, really wanted to do it, okay. Right. And when you fire the gun, the slide's gotta move, so yeah, that's a problem. In the waistband holster. With the claw. And if you'll notice, the trigger is entirely, yeah, I know I muzzled myself. I shouldn't have done that, but that was a mistake, okay? But well, I have too much confidence in the gun, put it that way. My finger's off the trigger's covered by the holster entirely, okay? And yes, that was a dumb move to muzzle sweep it like that, but the gun will not go off. And this gun is even harder to pull because you see the sweat guard, it's even harder to pull the slide back, okay? And since 1980, the Glock platform, I have not seen a single case of the gun being dropped and going off. I would suggest that SIG buy back every single P320 immediately, private, public sector. Now, private sector, you gotta go to the FFL, put it in the box, mail it back to them, okay? Get a free gun from them, maybe a P226, a P229, or P220. Do the form with the FFL. If you have a registration state, you may have to register. Unregister the old gun, re-register the new gun. Police departments, military units, just put it all in big boxes and ship it back to SIG and get them all replaced. They should remove, now the Air Force did say they're removing the gun from circulation until further notice, but they should just take it out entirely. as far as I'm concerned, if I had anything to say about it, I would tell SIG point blank, your contract is null and void. If you want to sue us, get a lawyer and sue us. Your contract is null and void, effective immediately. Now, to go to some 1911 manufacturer, they might say bevel the magazine well and put an ambi safety on it. 1911 is a little harder to manufacture. I would flat out go back to Glock, because Glock did submit the 19X for the trials and it was turned down. I would tell Glock tomorrow, listen man, give us a bunch of 19s or give us the 19X or some shit, but give us something. And some people say the P320 won out because of a physical safety, even though Glock could put a safety on there. And they had a couple examples just for fun. So, yeah. Some 19Xs did make it to circulation. Very few, though. Yeah. And the modularity, because you could have the P320, you could like have an officer carrying it with those short frame and low cap magazine, just to have in the office to walk around with, to be a big man. And the guy that's in the trenches could have the full length slide with the full length grip and the full length magazine. So it's modular. Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you, what the fuck is modular gonna do when the gun goes off and kills you? I would much rather have a Glock 19 that's not modular. This is the 23, for those who don't know. I'd much rather have a Glock 19 that is not modular than have a gun kill me. Because it is so fucking stupid for you to die because your gun went off by itself. That is so fucking dumb. It's a hard way to die. It's a hard way to get injured. So that's just me. Me personally, if I had bought a P320, I would have brought it to the police department and said, listen, get rid of it. Okay? Pretend I'm a gangbanger and I'm just running my gun to you. I would rather just get rid of it, even if I gotta throw it away. Just get rid of it, get it away from me. I would replace it with a Glock. I mean, that's the truth. I'm like, well, Glock is boring. Well, Glock works. I don't give a fuck about boring. Okay, thank you.